Hey everyone, my name is Shea Hart, and this is my vlog on Until I Am Free, Fannie Lou Hamer's Enduring Message to America. Um, the book was written by Keisha and Blain. Dr. Blain is a historian, and she is a professor at Brown University. This book is centered around Fannie Lou Hamer's life and her work as a civil rights activist. Um, the main, it starts with Fannie Lou's birth and early life, and she was born in 1917. But most of the book focuses on her work that began in 1962 as a civil rights activist. And she was active with that for almost 10 years. But anyway, so Dr. Blain, she wrote this book in 2021. I found it kind of maybe funny that she at first didn't feel like she could make the impact when and the way that Fannie Lou Hamer kind of shaped Dr. Blain's career and drove her to her work. But I do want to add, like, this book has been by far my favorite book that I've ever been assigned to read for a class, just because it's so powerful and so relevant, and the author does a wonderful job at just portraying Fannie Lou Hamer's life and work and making it relevant, because it is still relevant. And that's why she decided to write it, because Hamer's story is so powerful and, again, relevant. But so the book was, it, like I said, it focuses on Fannie Lou Hamer and her life. It is based around the time, based around the 1960s, mainly. Although it does go into her early life and describe how she was the youngest of 20 children, which I thought that's crazy to think about. And how she, at 6 years old, was tricked into picking cotton. But, excuse me, I'm so sorry. The book, it's so relevant to today, and Fannie Lou Hamer's story is so important because, as the author mentions, before a class that she took, she had never heard of Fannie Lou Hamer, and I can relate to that because I hadn't either before this class, and I find her story so unique and so important because, as the author mentions, we're used to hearing about Malcolm X and Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. and, all the bigger, as the author says, trailblazers in the civil rights movement. But Fannie Lou stands out because she was a Black woman. She was formally uneducated, and she didn't come from money. She struggled. They were poor and living in poverty. In the book, she describes how, I believe it said one of her daughters died from, hunger, and another one of her daughters was hospitalized. But that she's just different, and but I want to add some of the most touching and important descriptions of her life, and I guess shocking, was how first her civil rights career began by attending a meeting and realizing that she even had the right to vote. And, which that's crazy to me. She didn't even know. She didn't even know she could register. Although that did face its own challenges, it was just shocking that that's what sparked a fire in her. That was, she never gave up. She was so committed to her career in civil rights because she knew she had to. She was, as I said, she was a mother of 2, but they were children that she did not have. She adopted. And this was one of the most shocking and disturbing details in the book, that she had a forced sterilization that she was completely unaware of. And that was just sad. I couldn't even imagine. And then to find out that that was actually something that doctors were doing. Doctors that took an oath to protect and care. But Black women, they were doing forced sterilizations. The author also does a good job at taking Fannie Lou Hamer's story and relating it to today's society. Some of the people that she included, some of the stories, one was Trayvon Martin, and she included Breonna Taylor's story, and I learned something about that as well. I didn't realize, I think the hashtag was birthday for Breonna. Brianna's birthday. It was one of those, but how that blew up, and her family was able to do something with it and provide funds so that that doesn't happen again. And so that they passed the law to end the no-knock order, I believe is what it was called. But the author also mentions some powerful women too. I found it really interesting that Megan Thee Stallion was included, which I'm a big fan of her, so it was like, oh, that's cool. But and then of course Vice President Kamala Harris was included, and of course I didn't realize that Kamala Harris actually quoted Fannie Lou Hamer in one of her speeches, which I thought was, wow. Well, if I would have paid attention, I could have enjoyed this much sooner. But like I said, including those people, the author did a great job at connecting the past with the present, and highlighting that we're still dealing with social injustice for Black people. Although, I mean, we can look at and acknowledge the fact that we have come a long way, but there's still work to be done. And I think that is the main message here. We're not done yet. Another one of my favorite parts of the book was, and it kind of made me emotional, and just talking about it right now, it kind of makes me emotional, but the shock and pride that Fannie Lou Hamer had when she was able to travel to Ghana. Was it Ghana or Africa? It was a part of Africa, and she saw the Black pilot, and she saw a Black flight attendant. And being a Black woman from Mississippi during the 60s, that was just not something. I mean, she was still dealing with, they had numbers of lynching still. Like, it was amazing to get to read how much pride she had in that. It was also amazing how you could see the strength in just the way that Fannie Lou Hamer spoke, and how strong, how truly strong she was, and determined. And of course, it was a bit funny at times, some of her comments, and it was just an amazing story that I feel like so many people can benefit from. Her story really sends a message that the work is not done, they will not settle. And one of the phrases that, or quotes that she continues to say is, until I am free, nobody's free. And that is her main point. And I like that she stood for human rights. She really told it like it is, you know. And I think the book does show that, like I said, there's definitely been a shift, and there's been change, and there's been definitely positive change, but it's not done. We are not there yet. We are not where we need to be. We're still dealing with police brutality, just like Fannie Lou Hamer experienced in the 1960s, where she was wrongfully arrested, and she was not only beaten so badly she was left disabled, but she was sexually assaulted. And we're, in most cases, maybe we are further along from that, and there can be more justice brought on, but we're not done. The work is not done. So just to finish up, I would say I truly enjoyed reading this book. Fannie Lou Hamer's story is a powerful and incredible one. And I would recommend anyone read it. So thank you.